Welcome to this explainer. You know, if you're staring down the 2026 laptop market right now, you probably know exactly how overwhelming it can feel. To most people, spec sheets look like complete alien gibberish. There are literally hundreds of confusing models out there, and the price tags? They range from a couple $100 all the way to several thousand. So today, we're going to completely demystify this entire landscape. We want to make absolutely sure you get exactly what you need without overspending or, just as importantly, under-equipping yourself.
Which really brings us to the golden question, doesn't it? Which laptop actually fits your daily needs and your budget? To figure that out, we're going to climb what I call the budget escalator together. Think about it like this. Skipping a step could mean ending up with a painfully slow laptop that just frustrates you every single day. But jumping too high? Well, that just means burning your hard-earned cash for absolutely no reason. By mapping out exactly what capabilities you unlock at every single price tier this year, you'll be able to pinpoint exactly which step you belong on. Say goodbye to buyer's remorse.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, the budget tier. Second, the mid-range sweet spot. Third, better performance. Fourth, premium and high-end power. And finally, a simple buying guide to wrap it all up.
All right, let's kick things off with part one, the budget tier.
We're starting our climb right at the entry level. This space is all about absolute survival essentials and everyday productivity. It's specifically geared towards students and remote workers who just need to get online without entirely emptying their bank accounts. In this strict budget bracket, roughly between $300 and $500, every single dollar counts. You're primarily looking at entry-level machines from established brands like Acer, Lenovo, Asus, and of course various Chromebooks. These brands absolutely dominate this tier because they've completely mastered economies of scale. Now look, when you buy a $300 laptop, you should expect a plastic chassis, it's going to be a bit heavier, and the screen won't blow you away with its brightness. But it is perfectly functional for getting the job done.
Yes, these entry-level laptops are perfectly capable of handling YouTube, Netflix, Zoom, Google Meet, and your standard Word and Excel tasks. But here is the golden rule for 2026. If you want to prevent this machine from feeling incredibly sluggish and slow over time, you absolutely must hunt for a model equipped with solid-state storage, an SSD, and a minimum of 8 GB of RAM. Why is this so non-negotiable? Well, an older spinning hard drive means booting up takes practically ages, whereas an SSD makes the laptop wake up instantly. And anything less than 8 gigs of RAM, your laptop is probably going to freeze the second you open too many browser tabs. And we all know how much Google Chrome just loves to eat up RAM. Seriously, do not compromise on those two specs, even on a super strict budget.
To give you some really concrete examples, the Acer Aspire Go 15 and the Asus vivobook 16s are absolute standout winners in this bracket right now. The specific value they offer for under $500 is just phenomenal. If you're a student on a tight budget taking online classes, these give you the reliable screen real estate and the basic multitasking chops you need to write papers and jump into virtual lectures seamlessly. They really prove you do not need a massive budget to survive the academic year.
Moving right along to part two, the mid-range sweet spot.
Stepping up to the $500 to $700 range represents a massive jump in overall quality. Frankly, this is the most popular category for buyers today, and there's a really good reason for that. This is the exact threshold where you stop making painful compromises and actually start getting real, everyday reliability. We're leaving the bare minimums behind and introducing highly capable daily drivers. In this space, you're looking at proven, widely adopted models like the Dell Inspiron and the Lenovo IdeaPad series.
This tier is universally considered the sweet spot because of a few really vital upgrades. For just a couple $100 more, you are getting a significantly stronger physical build. That means way less flex in the keyboard when you type and much better, sturdier hinges for the screen. You also get a crisp 1080p display, which is a lifesaver for reducing eye strain during those long late-night study sessions or marathon work shifts. And crucially, you unlock 10 to 12 hours of battery life. That means you can finally leave that heavy charging brick at home. It makes it perfectly balanced for part-time work, juggling online classes, and even handling a bit of light content creation on the go.
Next up, part three, better performance.
As we continue our climb up the escalator into the $700 to $900 bracket, we enter a really fascinating transitional space. This is where aesthetics, portability, and versatility begin to matter just as much as raw computing power. The hardware starts to feel genuinely premium here because the materials often change from that budget plastic to sleek, cool aluminum. You really start to notice the tactile feel of the hardware. You'll find top-tier premium Chromebooks, lightweight ultrabooks, which really just means exceptionally thin and light laptops with long battery life, and highly versatile touch-enabled devices like the Lenovo Yoga.
See, this tier is specifically designed for the modern, hybrid worker or college student. You're paying for those super thin, light, and stylish designs with better processors and even more RAM under the hood. Plus, you get those fantastic 2-in-1 touchscreen options. Just imagine the convenience of this. You could be typing an essay at a desk and then effortlessly flip the touchscreen around into tent mode to watch a movie on an airplane, or lay it totally flat to take handwritten notes with a stylus in a packed lecture hall. If you need one single, highly portable, good-looking device to seamlessly carry you between school, work, and travel, this is exactly where you should be shopping.
All right, part 4, premium and high-end power.
Now we're crossing a major threshold into the territory where longevity, premium materials, and professional-grade performance take center stage. And you really see a stark difference within the top end of the market here. On one hand, in the $900 to $1,200 zone, you have your premium ultrabooks and Apple's incredibly efficient M-series MacBooks. The 2026 M-series is heavily praised for a reason. You're getting insane battery efficiency and absolutely zero fan noise. It's perfectly silent. But contrast that vividly with the other side of this bracket. Once you cross the $1,200 threshold, you enter the realm of raw, uncompromising workstation and gaming power. These are heavy, glowing, power-hungry machines that often require being plugged into a wall to actually hit their peak performance. Looking specifically at that $900 to $1,200 premium zone, this idea of longevity sums it up perfectly. If you want something that just works flawlessly for years, aim here. But let's talk about the actual financial insight behind that. The cost per year. Spending $1,000 now on a machine that effortlessly lasts 5 years without slowing down is actually way cheaper in the long run than buying a $400 machine that breaks or becomes unbearably slow every 2 years. You're paying for super smooth performance, elite displays, and just total peace of mind for the foreseeable future.
However, what if you step up to the absolute top tier, $1,200 and well beyond? Well, you're paying a massive premium for very specific heavy-duty hardware. We're talking dedicated, powerful graphics cards, massive RAM upgrades, and top-tier processors. Let's ground this in reality for a second. This tier is strictly ideal for heavy use cases. Things like editing 4K footage in Premiere Pro, running massive complex 3D models in AutoCAD, or playing the absolute latest, graphics-intensive gaming titles at high frame rates. If that sounds like your typical Tuesday, this is definitely your territory.
Which brings us to a very, very important warning. Spending over $1,200 just to watch Netflix, browse the web, and type in Microsoft Word for your online classes is absolute overkill. Think of it this way. Buying a $2,000 workstation just for typing Word documents is literally like buying a Ferrari just to drive to the mailbox at the end of your driveway. Sure, it might look pretty cool, but it is simply not the best value for your money. Please do not be upsold into a workstation if you do not have a workstation-level daily routine.
And finally, Part 5, Simple Buying Guide.
Let's completely demystify this entire escalator by synthesizing everything we've talked about into a crystal clear, actionable matrix based on exactly who you are. Let's walk through this together. If you're a tight budget student, stay right in that $300 to $500 lane. Accept a plastic chassis, but demand an SSD and 8 gigs of RAM so it stays snappy. Now, if you need balance for work and study, step up to the $500 to $700 sweet spot. Grab a Dell Inspiron or IdeaPad to get that crisp 1080p screen and all-day battery life. If you're a premium user who wants a flawless aluminum feel that lasts half a decade, aim for an M-series MacBook Air or an ultrabook around $1,000. And finally, only if you're a serious gamer, heavy video editor, or 3D designer should you be looking at those $1,200+ workstations with dedicated graphics. I want to leave you